I'm an atheist.
I would like to think that I'm somewhere in between atheist and agnostic.
I'd definitely say I'm a theist.
I would say primarily dwell in the agnostic belief.
I am most definitely a theist.
The reasons for it is that mostly that I simply don't believe that there is a God or a heaven or a hell.
Intellectually, if I really think about things, I'm a total atheist and I believe in the earth creating people and humans' total dependence on earth.
That's kind of an abstract view of looking at it because like religion is not really a reason-based thing, I don't think.
I don't necessarily believe in a God, as in I do not believe in a sentient being.
What they call design, I do believe in some type of intelligent design of the universe, of the earth, of the DNA molecule, of people.
When I was going to church, I became very depressed thinking about hell. When exposed to ideas that maybe religion wasn't real, the depression lifted. I felt much better.
But I'm like a hopeful agnostic in that I hope that I'm wrong and that there is something out there controlling.
I guess I follow two different religions, really. I guess I follow philosophy and religion. Belief system and religion are kind of different things.
I do believe, what best I can say is I believe in the power of life, that life will always take over and trying to exist.
Let's say biblical creation type thing, or it could be a more modified, more modern approach where something what they call theistic evolution, where evolution is involved, but there's some kind of a deity behind it. My background is theist. My parents raised me in church and stuff like that, and without being too forceful about it. And there was a great deal of my life where I was not interested in that. And any of those things that were supposed to, do the right thing, I wasn't interested in doing that either.
My parents are both raised Catholic. Mm-hmm. They raised me with a strange mixture of Catholicism and just secularism.
My mother was a former nun. She was Catholic, was a nun for 15 years. My dad was a Baptist missionary. They were married in the Baptist church. And I always say they sort of compromised and became Episcopalians.
I mean, I went to church till I was... In high school, we used to go to church early in the morning. I was thinking about this the other day. We used to go to church, my parents would drag us to 7:30 Mass on Sunday mornings, which, if you want somebody to believe in a religion, you don't drag them to church at 8 in the morning,
I was raised theist. I was raised in a Baptist church that was kind of more just socially religious. We went to church every Sunday, everybody went to church, and then that's kind of where everybody met their drinking partners and went out on Saturday night.
I didn't just look at how I was raised, I looked at every religion out there, any theistic belief out there. And I'm still in the process of doing that. But my convictions are most definitely similar to the way I was raised. I did come up with, I do think that's the right thing.
But when I was growing up, they gave me Catholicism, but didn't demand that I take it seriously.
My mom always, our church didn't have a lot of other families who had children the same age as me and my brother. And so my mom would always send us to Bible camp.
I'd say in some regards it influenced me because I at least knew the Christian way and the belief system.
I went to Baylor for undergrad, which is a Southern Baptist college, and there I was kind of going through some rough times, so I became heavily involved in, it called itself a Baptist church, but it was more Pentecostal.
And I also realized I could be wrong. So you have to, it's a funny dichotomy of having convictions and having strong beliefs, but also somehow trying to be open-minded about it.
When they were raising me, they were both basically atheists. Since then, they've both returned to the church.
The priest was going around to the different schools, and it was right around Halloween, and he's kind of saying, you should not partake in Halloween and trick-or-treating. You should stay home and pass out these pamphlets saying how Halloween is, evil, the devil's holiday.
I might not believe in the dogma of traditional Christian belief systems, but I definitely think that there's things of value.
I really kind of wanted to change the world as a missionary, but as I started seeing some negative things going on in the church and had a hard time resolving like the own battle in my own head of intellectualism versus beliefs, I sort of started going away from that, and it was actually kind of like a really bad breakup with God that I had. For most theists, I think they've got a really good heart, having been there myself and seen all different aspects of it. I think their intentions are good. They're kind of seeking a way to leave an impact on the world.
It's going to sound very trite,
Okay.
but no two snowflakes are alike. Even someone who shares, as part of your religious group or your denomination or, goes to your church or whatever, everybody differs on something or another.
I just have a problem with like religion saying like, you have to believe what I believe or else, you know what I mean? You're, you know what I mean? Like you have to believe in what I believe in or else, you're bad.
I understand the reasons that they believe in it. I think religion can be humanizing.
I mean, I'm kind of along the lines with the atheists and not believing in an afterlife, or definitely in a lot of the afterlives that other religions go to.
They're doing that for their own personal reward in the end, which is to be loved by their God, to find eternal life. So I think that I have a hard time. I have like this understanding. I always want to reach out and help them.
Disagreement does not equal hatred. I could totally disagree with you 100%. Doesn't mean I hate your guts. Doesn't mean I won't let you hang out with me or date my daughter or whatever. I just disagree.
We're spiritual beings having a human experience, So when we die, we go, but like return to source, so to speak. So, you know what I mean? Like we're all going to kind of end up in the same place. We're all just taking different paths to get there.
Really though, I think that they're fooling themselves. I think that there is in fact no heaven or hell. I think there's no God.
I can see how it can be very comforting to believe in an afterlife because, well, as Steve Jobs just was quoted in his memoir, just thinking that, once you are gone, you just sort of go out, just that nothingness is thinking that suddenly you just stop. It's hard to say. I once heard this rabbi say, man created God in his own image. So I think it's inherent that we do need myth or mythology.
I think society has always been somewhat ethical. And I think you can see that in the other species, that there is a fight to survive, but they also try to help each other.
Definitely religions, of course, have a lot of moral aspects to them. And for a long time, that's how everybody thought about morality.
There's what brings me back to another reason why I believe in some type of theism out there is because we have these very similar moral codes. Usually it's wrong to murder someone, in any religion, any society.
I believe that humans are naturally ethical people.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Regardless of science or of, pre-Christianity or whatever. I mean, I believe that people I believe that people in their hearts left to their own devices, are good people.
It helps form a moral code, yes, and a lot of moral codes, current laws are taken from the, religious codes or dogmas.
These elephants that have been rescued from circuses and stuff go to live, and they usually partner into, and then they kind of they hate every outsider, and they kind of survive amongst themselves. But there was the one elephant who, when a dog came and was it was a stray dog, and the elephant found it and kind of nurtured it. That instinct to nurture someone who needs help.
I think, though, that really morality is more something inherent to humans.
I would say in our modern scientific society, I think there are ethics, but if there's no foundation for the ethics, why would you bother?
Religion is like how you perform in the society in order to like please, in order to like return to God or whatever, versus ethics are how you treat other people. It depends on what you do with these beliefs. You know what I mean? Like I could be a, you know, there's a lot of theist people kill a lot of people. You know what I mean? Like a lot of atheist people kill a lot of people. You know, I mean, if you're killing each other, you know, I don't care what you believe in, it's wrong.
Theistic beliefs do useful things. They're a form of social control. They keep social cohesion, but they train you to believe in things for which there is no evidence, and in fact, to ignore evidence of things.
It depends on the theism, and it depends on the society. In this society, in the United States of America, I believe that theism is a benefit. I do think it is. Some people would call theism or moral code or something, especially the old-fashioned kind, I suppose, the religious kind. Well, religion's the opiate of the masses, but there could be some good points to that.
When you start looking to try to please this God, and by definition meeting in general with other people who share your theist beliefs, that kind of group in numbers can cause some bad ideas, such as the way that, you know, back in the 40s and 50s and 60s when all of these Christians were coming together and deciding that blacks were evil and they're lynching people.
I think it can be a hindrance. Examples of hindrance of society, the Great Crusades.
You know, like if you're an atheist and you don't go around, you know, and you're a nice person and you trying to help other people, then, you know, so God, you know, good for you.
Seems to me what we need to start doing is thinking more logically, noticing things as they actually are in the world, responding to what's actually going on, not what we wish was going on or think should be going on.
Because I'd say over the last 30 to 40 years, religious belief has probably declined somewhat, but the crime rates have risen. You know, there's stuff we never had to deal with before that, you know, I think is somewhat frightening.
Atheists, the great thing about that, and even agnostics too, but not to a degree, is that it teaches you to really live in every moment that you have, because this is especially with atheism, the earth itself is the beauty that was created and you are living in that. So I think that is greatly beneficial to society.
There's no clear way of how, or at least I don't know a definitely clear way of how to instill morality or ethics. It's a very complicated issue.
But if you're a Christian, you go around killing people because of their religion, or, you know, you're a theist and you go around killing people because they're atheists, you know, that's really, you're not really doing anything, you know, you're doing negative things.
When you have religion, it's like you're in a building, maybe, in a house, you know, you're housed in this religious belief, but if you get rid of religious belief, it's like you're outside in the cold, in the rain. And it's a challenge sometimes to convince people that it's actually okay to be outside.
I think it's interesting that we have what they call the wall of separation between church and state, which a lot of people doesn't realize that's not the language used in the Constitution, Bill of Rights. But it's a good way to describe it, and at the same time, all our founding documents have religious language in them. So I think what the founding fathers were trying to say is, you can express yourself religiously, even at the government level. That doesn't mean we're endorsing one religion or another.
But I also think that the teachings of theism, and not just Christianity, but especially in Buddhism and Hinduism, to love man and to help man and to do that kind of stuff, that's great, except when it kind of goes crazy.
There's the old stories, the old proverbs or nursery tales that sort of instill a moral code, but at the same time, a purely scientific society, especially one that invented the bomb and, you know, without thinking of the ramifications afterwards, it is also just as bad as the Crusades.